Over the last few weeks, we've looked at pieces of the walk. Now I'm going to put the whole walk together and show you how those pieces fit in what we practice. And this is probably one of the more important things that we do. Now, I'm not going to count with this today, but it's generally done on an 8-beat. Now that's the walk. And it's more complex than it looks. That's why I talked about the drop step in one of the videos. Lean forward and drop into that hole. If you keep leaning forward, you've got to kick that foot out. That's the drop step. Well, that's only half of it. Once you take this step, you got to be able to come back. Now, when I first started, they explained a couple things. The walk is a moving meditation. And once you start this first step, you shouldn't stop till you get to the end. Now, they had two rules on this. One, in between steps, your weight had to be 50-50. But you didn't stop. So I had to think about this. How do I do this? Well, when I first figured out the drop step, I did big things. My weight's 50-50, but my center is still flowing. And I did it just tremendously big for me at first, so that I could feel this hole, and I could feel the flow and the twisting and the turnings. And I probably did that for 2-3 years. And the big circle, because if you do a pendulum, there's a stop there before it comes down. If you flow over the top like a figure eight or an infinity sign, and that's what if you watch, you think I've stopped, but if you feel me, I'm still moving. Just because my weight's 50-50 doesn't mean that my center has stopped. And that was the only thing that made sense to me with the two rules that once you start, you don't stop, but your weight had to be 50-50. That to me was a confusing issue until I went, oh, keep my center moving. Now, how did I practice that? I went to the drop step, the big circles, so that I could feel this rise and fall back into the next hole. Now, the other part of this, I did the open step, open sweep drill, open step, open sweep. It's a judo drill, but it's about the hips. When I do the goblet step, I'm using the hips. When I do this, and I come to turn to do this one, I use the hip to turn me. Now, what you'll find is there's numerous ways to do almost anything. I'm not going to tell you this is the right way for you. I'm going to tell you it's the right way for me. And we had my teacher's teacher, who was probably a genius as a martial artist, kept telling us, the reason I can do this better than y'all can is because I can outwalk you. Well, I took him at his word. I've been working on the walk for probably 25, 30 years. I mean, looking for the little pieces to put together to make it more fluid. Because if you're fluid, and you don't stop, it's very hard to get you. When you stop to do something, you can get got. I hope this helps. Look at the drop step, look at the open step, open sweep, look at the pieces of the walk, then look at this part of the walk. If you've got some questions or something, send an email, write a comment. I'll try and figure out how to answer you. Sometimes it takes a while. I've had people ask me questions that have been 2 or 3 weeks, maybe a month later, and I go back to them and, you remember that question you asked me? And they look at me like, what question? So I do try and answer. Thank y'all.